Hello everyone and welcome back to Lakeside. Today's going to be a bit of an update really as regards the layout. Apologies for not getting a video up sooner. I won't go into that. There's just been things in the way. So let's go over to the other side of this layout and I'll explain to you what's going to be going on. Okay, so bye for now. Bye.
Hello, right, welcome back. Okay, so the first thing you can see here is that this is where the heritage line used to tee off, just here with a point and go up. Well, as you can see, that point is now out and there's just a continuation of the main line. So obviously, where's the heritage line gone? Well, it's gone, period. The whole of the track has been taken up. As we go up, you'll see the platform has gone, everything's gone. And that's to make way for the canal. I decided in the end that to try and fit the canal in with the platform was pushing my luck. Yes, it would have been nice to have had another 6 or 8 inches in the width there to cover it, but I haven't. So I thought, okay, I'm not really using that heritage line. I can make better use of it, that space, with the canal. Now I can make a really nice scene with the canal coming out from that tunnel just here. I zoom in, so the canal will come out from that tunnel and go along, all the way along the back, which will give me ample room now, and will disappear magically behind that scene there. So I'll have to modify that part of the scenics, but that's no issue. And it will just disappear behind that area there. So let's have a look. Ignore those for the moment. So if I start here, as you can see, I've made up some canal shuttering, and I've just got a few pieces parked up along the edge there. And so this lot will be, plus there'll be some more as well, and they will be running along the edge. Now I've taken some reference photographs of canals. I'll only show you a few because I've got loads of them. So I've got references for tunnels, bridges, canal sides, and the interesting thing about the canal sides I didn't realise was that in a lot of cases, in fact the majority of cases, this shuttering here only appears on one side of the canal, which I guess is for where you want to moor. The other side of the canal is just a grass embankment. So that's what I intend to do. I just intend to put that shuttering on one side, which is going to be the side you see. So over here is where you're going to be seeing it, so the shuttering will be on that side of the canal, and this side will be a grass embankment. So that's the plan. So it's going to come along, and I'll be interspersing photographs of the canals as I take the video. So it come from the canal all the way along and disappear through there. So what you see here is not the position of things, it's just stuff which I've built so far. So I've got a canal bridge, which is a nice bridge, I like that. It's purposely made for the canal. It's got beautiful curved sides to it. Lots of compound curves in it. It's quite tricky to make actually. It's a cardboard kit from Scale Scenes which you download glue onto card, different thicknesses of card, and then assemble. So that's it. I've got from Scale Model Scenery a download kit of a lock, so I'm in the process of building that, and that's a very small portion of it there. So I've got obviously the other half to make, plus the gates, etc., and the walling. And the walling will be made of brick, because in most cases the lock gates, the walling for that is made of brick, not shuttering like this. So, and I've also knocked up a very cheap and cheerful canal boat, purely to give me some form of scale. I won't be using that particular one on the layout, it's not good enough. Yes, I could detail it, but it's just not worth it. There are far better models of canal boats than that. That's literally 2 bits of balsa wood glued together with paper stuck on it. So it's not great, but it gives me an idea, something to work with. So just remember that what you see here is not the final position. So this area here, the locks, might go down here, for instance. Now, quite a few people commented when I mentioned about the canal, oh, that means that you can have a moving canal boat operated by Fella or Magna Rail. Yes, I could, but what I have in mind won't make it work very good, and I'll go into that in detail in a minute. So there won't be any moving canal boats at all on here in the whole length. And you're wondering, well, why have I got servos there then? I'll explain. As you know, I like movement on my layout, so I've got the lift on the platform, I've got the Fella car system on the Kingsway High Street, I've got the Magna Rail for the cyclists going around the village, and I wanted movement on this side. And yes, it would be easy, wouldn't it, to have a Fella car system or even Magna Rail making the canal boats move. The only drawback with that is that with both those systems you've got to have a turnaround at either end, and once again I really haven't got the room to have, maybe up there, but down here I haven't. Not really. Not unless I bring the canal boat round here and going into there, which would be ridiculous, and then coming back, and it has to come back on the same part of the canal. So I don't want that system, so there won't be any canal boats moving. But what I have got are these 4 servos, 2 there and 2 there, and 2 circuit boards. So what I plan to do is, if you imagine this, if I get that, you're going to like this. Not a lot. Move that out of the way. Right, so the first thing is one control board which controls 2 servos will control the gates. The other control board will control, for 2 servos, will control a moving piece of water within the lock. So the plan is to have 2 gates here and here, and they will open and close independently. 2 gates will close and 2 gates will open. 2 gates will close, 2 gates will open. Operated by 1 servo at either end, operating 2 gates. This area here I'm going to have some water, or well, not real water, obviously, fake water, on a card, and when the gates close at one end or the other end, the water will raise up with a canal boat on it. So let's get the canal boat, bear with me. If you imagine that there, the canal boat will be, say, in its lowest position, and then the water will magically rise, and it will then open, the gates will open, and the canal boat will then be able to move on. It won't physically move on, but what I can do is position it there, pick it up and move it there, or pick it up and move it there, should I wish. It doesn't have to move, it's a model. All I'm after is the movement of water raising and lowering. Hence, 2 servos, one at either end of the water, so that it balances between the 2 ends, so it's not going to be going up like that. If I have 1 servo in the middle, I'm sure what will happen is that the water will tend to rock as it's going up. If I have 2 servos, one at either end, operating at the same time, it's going to go up and down smoothly. Very similar process to what I've done on the lift, on the platform. Now I've developed that, I now have a plan on how to actually manufacture the lifting system on the water. The gates are very easy to do. They just operate on a crank operating 2 gates. Very similar to operating the flaps on the wings of a radio controlled model aircraft. You have 1 servo, and that 1 servo connects to the 2 flaps, making them go up or down, normally down. And that'll be the same process. So a total of 4 servos and 2 controllers. And this will all be operational from the iPad, so it'll be DCC. So that's the plan. Now, I'm not saying that's where it's going to go. It's possibly going to go up here where I've got more room. It's still visually seen, but I'll see when I come to make the actual lock itself. That's when I'll decide where I actually want to put it. So with that in mind, am I on Zoom? No. With that in mind, I've then come to the conclusion that although I like the bridge, I think the bridge is going to go. And what I want to do is replace it with another one of those. Now I've got 2 choices here. I can either do a direct replacement, so take that bridge out and replace it with that, or one like that, or I take that bridge out still, but I'll come over here, I change this track here and I bring it over and I create, oh, right away that sunbeam, I create a 4-lane bridge just here. So it means relaying the curve from there to here, and likewise from there to here. So this in effect will be a 4-lane viaduct of similar shape. So there are my 2 options. Now the reason is that although I like the bridge, I like it a lot, but it's a hindrance. It's quite large, it's quite high, and even now I've modified it from 2 to 1, it's still in the way of the lake itself here and the canal scene at the back. So if I was to make that the same as this, it's going to be flat for a start, and if I bring those 2 tracks here over to here, then that will leave that expanse there of water free. So again, visually there'll be more to view of the lake than what I have at the moment, because at the moment, if we come down here, at the moment there really isn't an awful lot of lake showing. You know, it's taken up with that bridge there and that bridge there, and you can't really see too much behind it as regards to the lake, apart from the embankment, which will obviously drop down here. So major rethinking, but that's what model railways are all about, isn't it? Major rethinking on this side, which I don't mind, because this is the last side really, because everything else is basically there. You know, we've got the high street behind me, that end is pretty much done, the village is pretty much done. Excuse me. So this is the only side now left to complete, and I want to get it right. I'm sure most of you are sitting there thinking, oh well, why don't you do this and why don't you do that? Well, yeah, I possibly could. There's always another way of skinning a cat, isn't there? And we all have our own views and things about it, but I have spent an age, absolute age, up here trying to fathom out different methods of making this work, but making it work for me. I think that's the important thing. What do I prefer? Not what other people prefer, but what I prefer. And I like, at the moment, the way things stand, I'm liking the idea of getting rid of the bridge and making this a 4-lane bridge here, which will make it much easier to see the lake. It will open up the lake a lot. Like I say, I like the bridge, I love it. It's very nice, but, and in my original thoughts it worked, but the more I looked and thought about it, the more I thought, oh, it really is taking up too much room. It really is. For what it does and for what I want to show, then it's not working. Good idea at the time, but now I've come to seriously do this side of the layout, then I've had a major rethink, which is good. You know, I don't mind that, because at the end of the day I need to be happy, and I think this will look, in my mind's eye, I know how it's going to finish up, and I think it would look absolutely cracking by the time I finished this, with the manor house sitting here and a smaller bridge, or no bridge really for that, but a wider bridge here. That will give far more opportunity for me to get more use from the lake and see it more. So that's really the update. So it's quite a bit really, quite a bit. So canal going from that tunnel right the way through, with all the paraphernalia canal brings, with people, a pub. I want to have a pub along there somewhere, even if it's a half relief pub. I would like to have a pub along there somewhere. There's plenty of room for a pub, even if it means going into that scenery there. I don't mind chopping that scenery up, it's not an issue, because I can easily redo that. That was only put down for when I had the heritage line put in. Now it's gone, I can reshape that scenery. So a pub can go in there quite easily. Plus obviously embankments, vegetation, which will blend in nicely with the back scene I've got here. That's already looking quite nice as it stands there, and that's without any work on it. So there we go, exciting times. I'm really looking forward to getting stuck into this. My major problem is getting the time. I've been so short of time in the last 3 or 4 weeks of getting up here and doing stuff. In fact, I haven't. All I've done is research, lots of thinking, lots of sketching, and sorting out in my head what I want from this side of the layout. And now I think I've got it. I've got it to the extent that I will be happy with it. And as I keep saying, that's the important thing, is for me to be happy with what I will be doing. I'm quite excited about getting that working. So the first thing really is for me to make up a, here we go again, proof of concept that it works. So I should be getting pieces of foam board cut to shape, servos mounted, and just testing the operation of it before I even start doing it properly. Exactly what I did on the lift. I spent 3 months getting that right, and it's brilliant. I love it. And I want the same sort of thing to happen over here. I know it probably seems an awful lot of work just to see a couple of gates moving and the boat going up and down, but I think the actual visual effect of it, once it's done, will be, well, I think it'll be interesting to watch, put it that way, to seeing gates opening and closing and the boat going up and down. Far more interesting, I think, than to see just a single canal boat moving. So there we go. So that's the update really, so it is going to be quite a bit of time before this is all done. Lots of work to do. Doing the canal is easy, that's no issue, but it's not that, it's the building of that really, plus the lock itself, the building of the lock. I've got to get the heights right for one thing. I've got to make sure that it's the right height between one level and the other level. So that's one thing I need to sort out first. And whether I have the height this end or I have the height that end. But I'm kind of 99% sure that the height will be, or the higher part will be this end. The shallower part will be that end. So there we go, my friends. That's about all I've got to say at the moment. Hopefully you've got the gist of all that, and that, as I say, I will be interspersing photographs throughout this video of what I'm talking about as regards, you know, the bridge, the shuttering, locks, what kind of locks there are, and the weathering, the kind of brickwork, all that sort of thing. I've done quite a bit of research on the shuttering, the colouring of the shuttering, how deep it is or how shallow it is. The canals are very, very shallow. They're not very deep at all in places. So that height there, it certainly won't be any higher than that. And sometimes, if I can switch, the water level is here, virtually to the top of the shuttering. So there we go. Okay, so hopefully you've enjoyed that. A quick update of where we're going to go, and I won't do anything with the bridge until I know where I'm putting the canal, exactly where I'm putting the canal over there. That means that I can still keep the trains running, for one thing, and it'll give me time to build another viaduct along here. and again I've got 2 or 3 options with that, which I will go into at a later stage. So that bridge there will be going. I won't break it up, it just lifts out. It's not, I won't destroy it. What I'll do with it I don't know, but I certainly won't destroy it. There's no need. It lifts straight out, and I can store that here in the train room somewhere. Might come in handy for my next build perhaps, who knows. Okay, so there you go. Hopefully you've enjoyed that, and I'll see if I can get some form of running session as well. Okay, so bye for now folks, and I'll catch you again soon. Bye for now. Bye.